And I think we're live. Hi, everyone. This is Ben's Business Podcast, episode number 65. And I've got Born and Clary Fairy with me today. They're part of the Sunrise Selfie Club, which is the name I gave the 60-60 challenge for waking up early, but no one likes the name. So we're still trying to think about renaming it. But that's my child's name, so I find it quite harmful to change the name. So do you want to introduce yourselves first so everyone knows who we are? On you go, Clary.
Hi, I'm Clary Fairy. I am an author and a coach and a story world developer. And I joined the 60-60 challenge on the 10th of January this year. So I've been doing it for 70 days and I'm currently on day 3.
Yeah, I'm Björn Reigren, and why did I join the challenge? Well, I met Ben through Instagram because we both have a big interest in books and business books, and I also do some reviews over there, so check out Poor Björn's Notes to Self. That's where I am. I work as a game developer, and I joined the challenge to see if I can. I've been an early riser for a while, but I haven't done like the whole weeks. It's like usually weekdays, and I haven't been consistent with it fully. But I want to be, so that's why I joined.
Okay. Yeah, and for those that don't know me, probably most people on this know me by now. Yeah. But if you're new to this podcast that I've started, I've shared it. Gemma normally shares this live onto the Ben's Business Book Club group, but I've did it today. So I started the 60-60 challenge, renamed as the Sunrise Selfie Club. And the reason it's called the Sunrise Selfie Club is because the way it works is there's a bunch of structures that help us stick to our target. And we've actually had our first person who passed this full 66 days in a row today. So just to give you a quick breakdown of some of the rules is we have a 60-60 challenge sheet. I don't have one right here just now. There's a box of 66 days where you can tick off every time you wake up. For example, my challenge was to wake up at 4:45 a.m. every morning for 66 days straight. If you get to even I think my furthest I got is day 25 so far. If you fail at day 25, you still have to rip up the sheet and start again and put up a new sheet on the fridge or wherever you put it and tick off each day. So what those boxes where you tick off each day it gives you is you don't want to fail when you're halfway through it. It's really painful to actually rip up that sheet and start again and go with a blank sheet. So once you get going, you get a bit of momentum from this challenge. So that's why the challenge works really well. But adding a WhatsApp group, there's about 10 people in the group at the moment. Some people have come, some people have left, some people didn't really like the structure, and maybe even the messages. We've kind of created this great community within the WhatsApp group as well. So we've got community, we've got public accountability, we've got the 60-60 challenge sheet, which creates momentum. There's just so many different layers to making this really powerful and making it work. And a lot of people got really far on in their 60-60 challenge. And I personally feel like I've created a new habit of waking up earlier than I was before, albeit I've failed a good few times when I've got quite far on. At least if I look back on like tracking my last 4 months, I've definitely been up on average earlier than I have been later. So that's a win in itself, but the challenge is still going on. People are just joining. So some of us have just restarted from like quite far on 30 days. So there's people who have been through the war. Someone's broke their hip in the middle of this challenge, and life happens in this. Bjorn, you're just, your wife's giving birth, and my partner's also
in a couple of weeks. So
in a couple of weeks,
I need to be a little bit more flexible now. But actually, I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, so
okay,
it's staying
good. Yeah, so the challenge is very difficult. That's why it's called a challenge, because you set a time and you get up regardless, even the weekends. So this challenge has just kind of held everyone accountable within that group with all those layers and outer structures that hold us committed to it. And once people come in, it's quite. Some of them have mentioned that it's actually quite scary for them because they've committed to something quite huge. They've realised it's a whole life changing. People have mentioned that the challenge has actually been life changing for them, which I didn't expect. So that's what the 60/60 challenge is. I am Ben Lang. I run Ben's Business Podcast. I've got Ben's Business Book Club. I'm also known as an online marketing consultant, and I teach people how to make more sales online via Google, social media marketing, and that's me. So the other thing I wanted to ask the guest, we actually have Matt Hudson, I think, was wanting to come on just now as well. Sam, there's Ver, there's Kevin, there's a bunch of other people who couldn't get on. Or we're going to have all 10 of us on today sharing our lessons. But a few, obviously, this was just last second, and only a few of us could make it on. So, Claire, do you want to share when you were succeeding and when you got to your furthest? What did you learn in that process and the change in your life?
So, as I first began, I was waking up around maybe 6:30 in the morning. That was sort of like my comfortable time to wake up. But I sort of found that when I got up at that time, I was then just going straight into like mum mode. And then I was just running about in the morning, doing all the things that I needed to do. And I didn't really have that time for myself. So I thought, when I first began, I thought I'll change it to 5:30 a.m. and that'll give me an extra hour. So this was like amazing, because for me, having an extra hour in the morning just to meditate and have that time for myself was like, it was phenomenal. You know, I began running in the morning, I began reading, I began, you know, just having time for myself. And then I moved that up to 4:44 a.m. And this was really where the huge challenge came in. This is where I started failing, because I think I found mostly that the commitment wasn't really to waking up at that time in the morning. It was more to actually going to sleep at a time that allowed me to have enough sleep to be able to get up at that time. That's what I found is really the most difficult thing for me, the challenge. Because to wake up at like 4:45 in the morning meant that I'd have to go to bed at like 8:45 at night. Yeah. And that wasn't feasible, you know, with the family. So, yeah, like it was quite a challenge then.
Yeah, and it still is.
It still is. Yeah. I've moved my time to 5:30 again, which I found is like a lot more comfortable, a lot more easier for me to keep to.
Okay, yeah. And I've been very close to changing my time, and I keep going back to what do I want, what would I love, and it's always 4:45. So even if I'm failing, I'm quite happy. And one of the things I didn't mention is we take a selfie every morning. That's why it's called the Sunrise Selfie Club, obviously. So we take a selfie within the WhatsApp group and post it onto WhatsApp, and we add a time sticker. Like on Instagram, you get these stickers and you can add the time to your photo. So we put that inside WhatsApp, which allows that sticker as well. And whether we fail or whether we succeed, we put that picture up anyway. And it's when we fail is the most difficult part to still put it up, because you're kind of saying, hi, everyone, I've just failed this morning. Here's what time I got up at 10 a.m. when I was meant to be up at 4 in the morning. So, Bjorn, do you want to share how far you got in your 60/60 challenge before you kind of exited the group for obviously what's coming up, and what you learned in that process of changing your life?
Yeah, sure. Well, I had several runs, but I had two good ones in a row where I got up to 20 plus and 30 plus. And there was one small failure, like an hour. I slept in an hour or so in between those two. So that was a pretty good run just to build up the habit. For me, the biggest challenge has been it's the weekends usually. And we were doing this during the holiday season too. So it was Christmas and New Year's and all of that. And I was also on vacation, traveling with my family and my folks. So that was quite challenging. Just I think it's a cultural thing. Like people expect you to live in a different way during the weekends than during the weekdays. So that was something I didn't really expect or didn't think about, but that was really challenging. Like when it's Saturday and you go and you want to and you need to go to bed at like 10 p.m. That's a bit people feel like that's a bit weird, and that was a big challenge. So the weekends were the hardest for me, and that's also where I got less.
You paused a wee bit.
Like, am I cutting out?
You're back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing that I noticed was like how little you can cheat. I mean, you can have, if you go to bed really late, more than 1 or 2 days in a row, like 2 days max, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You can't go with too little sleep for very long.
No. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
I like the big pros for me is like Ferry said, it's like getting those focused hours in the morning. Like we have maybe 2 hours before my kids wake up, before like work starts. You can do your training, your meditation, get some free time, maybe do some writing or whatever your hobby is, and it's like that's some real quality time where your brain is fully rested. You can get so much out of those hours if you really want to. So I think that's the biggest pro for me, like getting that focused time in the morning before all the chaos starts.
That's why I originally, there was 2 reasons why I started the challenge for myself, why I started a 60-60 challenge, and I actually got that sheet from the book The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, and you can print it off from their website and use that sheet and follow that rule. But I wanted to add on other rules that were helping me make things happen. So I started doing a challenge with I invited my mum to do it and someone else. So I ended up just building this challenge up. Born's left us. I'll see if we can get him back in. So the challenge, I found out that the challenge just doing it myself was quite like a lonely place, and it was much better to get someone else on board for that public commitment and accountability, and just like going to the gym with an accountability partner. Here's Born just coming back on, and so the one reason I wanted to do it was exactly what Born just explained there, that it's good to have that time in the morning before everyone else wakes up, having that sort of peace in the morning, like you explained, Clary. Then the chaos happens. Like you have to put fires out, and your daughter's crying, your son's crying. A client needs a website to come to get put back online that's dropped off or it's been hacked or something. If I have that peace before then I'm more ready to take on these fires to put out, and it just puts me in a much better state. It gets me out of like my ego and into my genius mode or my creative mode, and kind of peaceful before the storm, the quiet before the storm. And like Clary said as well, so I'll just share some of my lessons that I learned as well from this, is that ability to, the reason I picked waking up earlier as the challenge, like you said, you have to change your evening routine as a byproduct, like it's part of it. But you don't really think about that when you decide I'm going to wake up earlier. But the evening routine is just as important as the morning routine, and winding down in the evening much earlier than is acceptable for your family and friends, where you almost disappoint people when you have to go to bed so early sometimes. And even yourself, you're kind of like enjoying yourself in the evening. But I discovered that it was something that my friend Tom said, who I met at a conference. He said that if you take this sort of 9 p.m. to 12 p.m., just take that away from yourself and add it to the morning, we tend to be more productive human beings in the early hours where we've got that peace and quiet to do productive things. So waking up early in the morning takes away your kind of unproductive nonsense you get up to in the late evening, up from 9 till 12, and you add that time to your morning, which is just such a great life-changing. It seems so simple, but it is literally life-changing. So changing that gives you less of an evening, but it gives you this productive space in the morning. And the waking up early is a keystone habit, which is from the name comes, that name phrase comes from Charles Duhigg, The Power of Habit, which I learned a lot about my brain and habits and how they develop and how you can add them on and remove them from your life. So a keystone habit is something where you create this one habit, such as waking up at 5 a.m., and it spills over into other good habits. Like Clary mentioned that she's been meditating more. I could never get into the habit of meditating ever. And even reading in the morning, walking my dog before my whole family's awake or before I need to go to work, before my partner had to go away to work when she was working. And there were so many benefits of waking up just these like 2-3 hours earlier than normal. It gave me the space, and it gave me the power of the keystone habit spilling over into this extra time to add on other habits such as meditation, reading, going to the gym. I've got a gym membership. I've got consistency in my meditation, and these kind of other habits such as meditation, even waking up early, you don't feel the benefit the first time you do it, or the second time, or even the 20th time. It's a kind of lifetime habit you need to establish, or you don't really feel the benefit. I've found it, especially from meditation. You get that clear-mindedness when you meditate over a course of 60 days, not just a couple of days in a row. Even if you miss a couple of days in between that, it's the feeling that you get over a long period of time. The same comes from waking up early. If you're sleeping in more than you're waking up early, you still don't get into this like routine of feeling like an early morning riser. You're still very easily swayed back into your old ways, which I've found it's still very easy. Crazy how easy it is, even though I've been doing this challenge for so long, how easy it is to fall back into your old ways. So having this structure potentially for a lifetime is probably worthwhile, I've just realized.
I feel like there's been so many benefits in terms of, like, I used to go to bed between midnight and 2 a.m. And that had been my pattern for literally years. So to change that to like 10 p.m. before I go to bed, I mean, there's like 4 hours difference, between my sleep. And so the sleep that I was getting was like more quality sleep. And then the time that I had in the morning, it almost felt like everything that I needed for the day, I'd get in the morning before I started the day. And so the rest of the day, I was on point with things. I had patience, I had the time, I had the energy to be able to do that. Whereas before, I was just rushed off my feet. And then the end of the day was like catching up from like me time. So the fact that I was getting that in the morning was like, my cup's full before the day's even began, So I found that like really
exactly. Yeah. And one of the lessons I learned yesterday, I just shared a video in our WhatsApp group, was just the difference between the day before that, when I slept in till maybe 9 o'clock. I wasn't out the door till 10. Had got up early, 4:45 in the morning, and by 9 p.m. I was actually shattered. I was ready to fall asleep. And you can't. It's the same as like if you do a workout, you're more tired by the end of the day. It's just getting yourself up that one morning where it really hurts will help you fall asleep early and just start to get in the routine again. And my day just felt so long and complete. Like you're saying, your cup was full. Rather than feeling like, oh, it's the end of the day, and you end up working later into the evening or at nighttime, that 9 till 12 p.m. where you're really not productive anyway. You've got zero willpower left. It's just not a great time to try to catch up. You just get it all done in the morning. Born, I wanted to ask you as well, what was like, I would like to have asked Sam as well, because you and Sam and I think Tyrone and even Matt Hudson, who I tried to get in here today, he's watching with us just live though. Would you be able to share like your main, the main reason why you think you did so well to reach, I think, what was the furthest you got? 30, 40, 50? I can't remember. It was about 35 to 40.
Something like that. Yes.
So you did 40 days in a row, let's say, getting up at 5 a.m. What was your reason? How do you think that you managed that?
That's a good question. We had a talk, I think it was you, Ben, and was it Matt also? We're talking about what are the main reasons we want to do this? Because it's not just that we want to go up early. We want to go up early because we want to use that time for something. Well, and we discussed what are our like main reasons for doing this. And for me, it's I want to make a priority of my health, so I try to go to the gym each morning, or at least 5 times a week. And also meditation is really, really important to me. And if I don't do that in the morning, like Ferry said, when the day is ended, like when you finished work and you put the kids to bed, you don't have enough energy, and you still have all those things that you feel are really important left to do, and it can be quite draining.
Yeah.
Just move those things that are really important to me to like the beginning of the day. I can check that off, and when like the rest of the town wakes up, that's already done. It feels really good, and it's also I feel like I'm taking steps towards my goals that I'm working on, even if it's my writing or my reading or my workout goals. I'll do that in the morning. Make sure it is done. And if there is an obstacle, like I can't do it that day, then maybe I can do it at lunch or later in the evening. But if you try to do everything in the evening, then you can't postpone it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, remember that call that we had, Bern, that we kind of inspired each other because asked some very deep questions about like, right, why are we failing here? And we kind of regathered. It was almost like a sales meeting. Why are we doing this? And then let's like get to the why of why we started again, and just reminding yourself. This is for everyone. A message for everyone. Like when you challenge yourself to start a new habit, whatever it is, the best thing to do is regroup with the group that you're doing it with, or just with yourself, and reflect on why you're failing, and get connected to that deep why. And one of the ways to do that, I think we did in that call, Bern, was actually, I learned that for me, my bottom part of the reason why it wasn't like 4:45 a.m. so I have more time in the morning. Why do I want more time in the morning? And then I went deeper, and why do I want that? And then I went deeper, and then why do I want that? And I'll just go deeper and deeper with the question. And at the very bottom of my real core reason why, it was for self-esteem. So it's the idea that I hated waking up at 9, 10 a.m. in the morning with a client calling me, or with someone calling me who was up earlier than me, and just feeling like I'm chasing the day. Because like there's a famous Benjamin Franklin quote. He says, "He who rises late trots all day." And you're just running, catching up with yourself, where you could have been well ahead and completed all those priorities that you want to have completed in the day before everyone's even awake. And I just felt like that was one of my core reasons why. I just loved that feeling of being ahead of not just myself, but being ahead of the whole world, and having that silence. It's kind of fresh air that you have in the morning. You have that fresh air to yourself. And especially, I wanted to establish this habit as well for I mentioned in that call, Bern, for seeing the early sunrise and spring. So when spring comes, I want to have this habit established, because we started it in winter, which was very difficult to do it because it's dark, and that was like not part of why I wanted to be. I didn't want to be up it felt like the middle of the night. But now when I'm up, it's coming into spring. It's great to see the mornings getting lighter, and I walk my dog and watch the sunrise, and it's just such a great start to my day. And I get lots of other benefits from the back of that. The other thing I wanted to ask all of us, and something I've got to share, is some tips I got out of the book, The Miracle Morning, which I learned were really helping me, and I do need to reconnect with those tips. But it's called the snooze-proof tips, basically. So ways to stop yourself from snoozing, because that's the key. We all learned from doing this for a long time with a group of people. The biggest feedback I get is that don't go back to bed. So when you get up with your alarm, don't go back. Don't put your head back on the pillow. It's so dangerous. Even if you're just snoozing, it'll turn into a long lie. And I've done that so many times. So I'm talking from experience, because you go back into your ego and your monkey brain, and once your monkey brain's got the better of you, you're done. So some of the tips that I've got that I learned from experience and from books is affirmations the night before. So one of the affirmations that you can say to yourself is, regardless of how late you're going to bed, you can say this: tomorrow morning, I will wake up at 4:45 a.m. feeling refreshed and energized, ready to take on the day. Something like that. You make up your own affirmation of what you want to feel at that time in the morning, and putting that into your subconscious mind to go to work while you're sleeping will be really helpful and make it easier for you to rise up in the morning. Stick a pint of water the night before in your fridge, a nice cold glass of water first thing you wake up. Down the pint of water, and that gets you. That's actually you're sometimes you're not tired, you're actually just dehydrated and thirsty. So I do that every single morning without a fail, and I'm getting my daily intake of water straight away from the start of the day. Other things I've learned is to splash your face. I don't always do that. I need to practice that. That was from the Miracle Morning. So splash your face with a cold glass of water, then brush your teeth and have your toothbrush kind of sitting out where you put your alarm clock. Also put your alarm clock. I put my alarm clock in the kitchen outside of my bedroom. I put my phone alarm. So have two alarms. One alarm clock to remind you that this other alarm clock's going to go off in the other room. And then the one that goes off in the other room, I usually have it turned off before it goes off, because it will wake up the whole family. So that causes a bit of urgency for me, or it'll go off in the kitchen, it'll wake up the whole family. And brush your teeth after you've had that pint of water and splashed your face straight away, and have a shower and get out have a shower or get out the door. I walk my dog as early as I can. Sometimes I sit through here and meditate. And then I go out and walk the dog. But in the summer when it's light, I just get out the door. So do you have some tips on kind of snooze-proof tips as well for helping other people who are trying to wake up earlier?
I'm a snoozer, actually. But I have planned for it. So I put my alarm like 8 minutes before 5, so I can snooze once at least. And then I get up. I want to get rid of the habit. I don't have any tips, really. I just go up and start my day immediately. So if it's a weekday, it's usually just get my stuff and go get myself to the gym. That's usually my routine. And the weekend coffee is still important for me.
That's the secret.
No, no snoozing tips. The only thing I know about is that it doesn't really serve you anything. Like those extra minutes, they don't add anything to your like awakeness for the rest of the day. So we might as well optimize them away.
Yeah. And what goes through your mind to stay out of bed, for example, or get to stay out of bed? And then other question is, what goes through your mind to get yourself to the gym that early? Because some people say they just don't have the energy or the will to go out in the cold and go to the gym.
I've done it for quite a while during weekdays. So for me, it's the habit. You build up the habits. I've had it for like 3-4 years now. I've done this, so I don't really remember how it started. But now it's more the other way around. Like if I don't do it, I feel weird when I get to work. Like why am I not happy? And why do I go around slouching? So it's more the other way around. If I miss the gym, that I feel like, oh, this is a weird day. What's happening?
Yeah.
But habits, like building those neural pathways so they connect really well.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me what.
So a 60-day challenge would be good for that too. 60-day gym challenge.
That could be it. That reminds me of what my friend Dylan said. Is you create a sort of ego eventually over time when you have a habit so strong that it would be weird not to do it because that's your new identity. So Clary, go ahead as well.
So likewise in the morning, I'm a bit of a snoozer. So even though I brought my time back to 5:30, I still have the alarm go off at 4:44, so I can just enjoy the snoozing until 5:30.
Yeah.
But what I do to make myself get out of bed is before I take the selfie and post it into the group, I have to get up, brush my teeth, and brush my hair, and then I take the selfie. So that helps me to get out of bed and get moving before I take my selfie, and then by then I'm up. So that helps.
Okay. And do you think that's so that like you know you won't snooze when you've done that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I'm in bed, I won't snooze.
Okay.
But if I'm still there, I'm snoozing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the world's worst snoozer, and like this is why I created the group, because I needed help. Like that's another lesson I learned from being like the leader or the host of the group, is you don't have to be the best to create a community that will change other people's lives, and almost use the people who you brought into your group to like the value for myself as well from you people has been tremendous. Like doing it on my own just doesn't even make sense anymore now that I know how to create this type of community and support system that makes me achieve my goal. And I'm huge on for me personally, find what works for you, but I'm huge on public commitment. If I tell people I'm going to do something publicly and I don't do it, that really kills me. So that's the major factor for me, is just saying, like, creating the rules and really being the leader of the group, and failing in front of my own community, my own group is a killer. So like that gives me a bit of drive as well. So you can get drive from negative as well as the positives of having these other new habits come into place. Have you got enough time to speak for any longer, or do we all need to go?
I'll have to head off.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I thought we were coming to the end of the time because we get in flow with these calls and they go on forever. So I hope everyone who joined us, we had a good few live viewers with us. Anthony, Gemma, Matt Hudson himself, Dace, Karen, Michael, Elaruna, and Anthony have all joined us, and I hope you found that valuable. And thanks for coming on, Clary and Born.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
A big shout out to Sam as well for the challenge, because she just got her 60/60s today. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really is really a challenge until you experience and put yourself through that, and having such honesty and publicly committing yourself is a real challenge, because people are watching you, and you can't lie. You don't get off with it in this group. So like just going and she started right from scratch and went all the way through, did 66 days at her chosen time. That's showing like amazing leadership and just commitment. And one of the lessons Sam shared with me for people here as well is that she simply wasn't going to fail. Like she had a really strong commitment when she said yes to it, that it wasn't an option basically. And that was one of the big things I got from Sam, that failure wasn't an option to make a mistake. So when she was up, she was 100% up, and there was like no chance she was going to be beaten. She had just this amazing determination and purpose and why behind it all, because she wants to be an example for other people. So if she's playing small, she didn't want other people to witness that. So she basically couldn't fail in her mind.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having us today.
Yeah. And thanks for joining, and thanks for everyone who watched live.
Enjoy.
Bye just now.
Bye.
Have a good day.